back to the second David67 Celtic News YouTube video of the day. This one going to be a quick roundup of all the ins and outs and rumours regarding new players coming in and old players going out, and a wee bit of an update on Brendan Rodgers' apparent transfer policy at the moment. So, one definite move out of the club, that's Yosuke Ideguchi. He is on his way to Vissel Kobe for around about £870,000, which recoups all of his transfer fee from a couple of years ago. Vissel Kobe are the current J League champions, and so clearly Ideguchi is very highly valued in Japanese football. Sad to see him go. I think he is a player who had a future at Celtic, although Brendan Rodgers obviously completely disagreed. Ideguchi's career, of course, blighted by injury. One start against Alloa, had a really nasty ankle injury, had in total 6 games for Celtic, had a very successful loan deal last season for Avispa Fukuoka in the J League, was on the shortlist for Japanese J League Player of the Year, and happily for him, he's off back to Japan to play for the current Japanese champions. Another player who was nearly out the club was Benjamin Siegrist. It appeared that his loan deal to Sturm Graz in Austria was just about to be signed off when Sturm Graz got cold feet, and they now, in fact, are now going for one of Liverpool's backup goalkeepers, Vyacheslav Jaros, instead, and so Siegrist and Celtic are back to square one. However, it does show in the case of Siegrist a keenness to leave Celtic, get off the wage bill, and start his career afresh. I think that contrasts quite considerably with the position with James McCarthy, who is happily getting his wages from Celtic, with only an occasional B-team appearance now being given back to Celtic. Bit of sad news, potentially. Rocco Vata, a very promising B-team under-18 team player, plays as both a wide player and through the middle. This season playing primarily through the middle, scoring a lot of goals in the Lowland League for the B team. Also has been successful in the UEFA Champions League Youth League this season for Celtic. He is being courted by quite a number of European clubs. His contract is up at the end of the season. The team that now seems in pole position for signing him is Bologna in Italy. However, also in the background are said to be Monaco in France, Juventus in Italy also, Torino and Notts Forest. In the past, Torino and Notts Forest have both had bids turned down for him. Bologna now, as I said, seem to be in the pole position, and Celtic, as a result, will lose him for a few £100,000 of compensation, very similar to the compensation deals we got when we lost Morrison to Bayern Munich and Doak to Liverpool. A lot of uncertainty within the news sources as to whether Celtic did or didn't offer Vata a new deal to extend him from his B-team under-18 contract into a full grown-up men's contract. What does seem very apparent is that Brendan Rodgers was the primary motivator and mover in not offering Vata a contract and banishing Vata back to the under-18 B team, with Vata having been in the last few games of Postecoglou's time in the first team squad and training with the first team squad on a permanent basis. However, it would appear as soon as Rodgers came to the club, He sent all the under-18 and B-team players back solely to play under-18 and B-team football, and apparently very quickly decided that Vata had no future at Celtic. That does seem in contrast with quite a number of top quality European teams. And so I would be personally sad to see Vata go, as I do think he has a future at Celtic. He, of course, does fill a number of needs for Celtic, also would fill in the UEFA quota for Scottish players, Scottish trained players. However, it looks like we're going to lose yet another budding star player to another big European team. Some good news for many is that Jung, the South Korean midfielder, the deal to sign him seems to be permanently off. Jung now looking forward to the new season in South Korea and building on last year's success when he was Player of the Year, Young Player of the Year, and so that deal appears to be gone. Kuhn of Rapid Vienna, that deal seems to be warming up. Rapid Vienna say they are considering a £2 million price tag for Nicolas Kuhn, and are quite amenable to letting Kuhn go in this current transfer window. I personally don't rate Kuhn as being an upgrade on the players that we have, nor do I feel he's any better than the young players Yang and Tilio, who are currently in the pecking order behind Abada, Maeda, and Palma. However, it's still to be seen whether Celtic are going to pursue an interest in Nicolas Kuhn. He is primarily a wide player but can play through the middle as a second striker, and so would give Celtic another option, although, as I've said before, that other option is also replicated by Marco Tilio, who is fully able to play down the left and the right as a wide player, but has actually shown a lot of success in Australian football and lower levels of international football, playing through the middle also. Now, final bit of news regarding players. Next piece of news is actually a piece of news that cropped up at the weekend, but I forgot to mention it in the Monday video. Brendan Rodgers has come out in his press releases saying that he has no intention of signing a new goalkeeper in the January transfer window. They are looking, it appears, to sign Joe Hart on an extension around about the May 2024 stage, which is just before his contract's up. Very vague as to whether he's then going to look for a new goalkeeper in the summer of 2024. And Brendan Rodgers' comment was along the lines of that Joe is a great guy, great to work with. I personally would much rather my goalkeeper was maybe a pain in the backside to work with, but a hard worker, hard trainer, and controlled and took control of his defence. That he made the 6-yard box his own. He wasn't dodgy for corners, long throws, and balls pumped into the box, and also was reliable at saving free kicks. I think Joe Hart has been a good goalkeeper for Celtic. He is rather erratic. He is prone to the odd bit of eccentricity, the odd bit of poor judgment. He does appear in the last year or so to have lost control of the 6-yard box. the goal against St Johnstone, the goal against Motherwell, and multiple other similar incidents have been cropping up more and more this season. And I think he is a wee bit of a liability. Whether that's down to a change in tactics for defending corners and long throws, where Rodgers and the goalkeeping coach has told him not to come for the ball anymore, I don't know. The other area I think Celtic have been deficient is defending direct free kicks. It cost us goals against Feyenoord and Hart, where I think the defence wasn't properly set up, and Hart's starting position was poor, and he didn't really get across as expected. He has been beaten a couple of times also by James Tavernier's direct free kicks in Rangers matches. For both those two, I do feel that Hart could have done more, the Wall could have done more, and so for me, a new goalkeeper was a priority in the January transfer window. I think that was the case for the bulk of the viewers and subscribers to the David67 channel. And I personally am rather disappointed that Rodgers has put that in the back burner and may even be looking at postponing a new goalkeeper for another year or more. There are quite a number of goalkeepers out there who are at the end of their contract, such as Lunin. There are goalkeepers probably looking for a move. Angus Gunn of Norwich, I think, would be a player definitely looking for a move. He'll be entering the last year of his contract this summer. His contract will be up in 2025. Kevin Kelleher at Liverpool is looking to have first team football on a permanent basis rather than an occasional basis. And so I think there are quite a number of targets Celtic should be looking at. Another interesting one, Matthew Ryan of Alkmaar in Holland. He is the Australian goalkeeper, very experienced goalkeeper, Scottish qualified through parentage, holds a British passport, and there's a wee video regarding Matthew Ryan from a month or so ago. I think there are a number of very good goalkeepers out there that Celtic could go for. Some will be available on free transfers. Some, like Angus Gunn, Kevin Kelleher, might well be available on cut price deals. And so, for me, I think Rodgers should change his mind ASAP and get in a new goalkeeper this summer at the very latest. One final bit of news, just to update yesterday's video where the news broke that Gustaf Lagerbielke was being lined up for a loan deal to Lecce to the end of the season. Lecce are a mid-table team in Serie A in Italy. Today's news appears that there has been a bit of a hold-up in terms of the loan deal. Now, some people were suggesting it's because Lecce and Celtic couldn't come to an agreed figure for the purchase price of Lagerbielke at the end of the loan in June. However, it's become very apparent that this is a loan deal only, with no purchase price or compulsion to purchase at the end of the deal. This is solely just loaning Lagerbielke to Lecce for the next 4 or 5 months, with Lagerbielke then coming back to Celtic to try and get himself into Brendan Rodgers' good books, assuming that Brendan Rodgers sticks around and hasn't toddled off back to the English Premier League or the Saudi League instead. So the hold-up appears to be that Lagerbielke is reputed to be on something around £14,000 a week at Celtic. This is too steep a price for Lecce to take on. Lecce are looking for Lagerbielke to come to them on loan, but for Celtic to pay 100% of Lagerbielke's weekly stroke monthly wages. Although it does appear that there is room for negotiation between Lagerbielke's agent, Celtic and Lecce, to get a figure that is fair to both Celtic and to Lecce. As anyone who's viewed the channel recently knows, I've maybe mentioned once or twice or maybe 20 times that I'm a big Lagerbielke fan. I am rather dumbfounded as to why Rodgers wants Lagerbielke out the club at all costs, and so that the deal is going to be a loan with no purchase at the end does cheer me up. And if there are financial difficulties for Lecce that doesn't allow them to complete the deal, that also makes me happy, because I do think we're going to need Lagerbielke at least as a sub player over the next few months, because I do have my doubts whether CCV is going to be able to play week in, week out with his knee and hamstring problems. And Stephen Welsh seems to be play once, get injured in training, or get play or in the game, and then be out for several months. At this point, it is uncertain whether his shoulder injury is going to quickly heal or whether it's going to be recurrent. As we know from Kyogo's recurring dislocating or subluxing shoulder problems, surgery is a strong recommendation if the shoulder keeps on coming out of joint. We so far have been able to postpone that for Kyogo. Whether that's going to be required for Stephen Welsh isn't yet known, as it appears the shoulder injury at Rangers was the first time he's injured his shoulder. But as I said, Welsh does seem to be an injury and several months out waiting to happen type player. So that just about finishes things off for today. There also was an analysis profile video for Fotis Ioannidis, a young Greek striker who Celtic have looked at in the past. That was also available today. And so for today, we'll chat again tomorrow. Goodbye and hail, hail.